wise man once said, if you have your health, you can have a million dreams. If you don't have your health, you can have only one dream, which is to have your health. Namaste, JuiceDas here, and today I want to talk about health. So, health is something that has been very important for me in my life because I, like most people, experience lots of sickness in my life as well. All right. So, what you see today is not something that it's the accumulation of all past events in my life. One very important thing that helped me to stick with my healthy practices for so long and to maintain this discipline is a realization that what I do today is going to have effect on me for the next 10 years. And what I did yesterday, it will have much more effect 10 years ahead rather than the effect on today. It's similar to imagine a comet flying through space, all right? And if you know that this comet will hit, let's say, a certain object like Earth, after 10 years of time, right? Even touching that comet and moving the trajectory slightly at that point would make a big difference where that comet ends up. But if you wait until one day before it hits the Earth, you would have to really blast it off. You could not really change the trajectory of that comet anymore. It would be really going into the it would be almost impossible to avoid that kind of collision. So in similar way, what we do today is gonna have huge impact in 10 years time. So when you are changing your habits, when you're trying to do things, good things for your health, what I encourage you to do is to have bigger perspective, right? What does it mean? Is that you do not think about what I'm feeling today and how it's amazing it's gonna be if I cheat and then have that meal, or if I be lazy and skip that exercise, right? Because I want you to think more about, will what you do today, will it matter in the future? So for example, you can imagine if imagine yourself, a very big perspective would be imagining yourself on your deathbed. Let's say imagine that you're 100 years old and you're when you're dying, and just think about what would be important for you at that moment. Would it be important that you ate these tasty pizzas in your life, or this snacks or things like that? Are those things that you're gonna remember? Because do you remember what you ate 1 week ago? Do you remember what kind of alcohol you drank 2 years ago, right? No, it doesn't really matter, right? What really matters for us in this life is experience and connections. Right. So the connections you have with people, the connection you have with yourself, the connection you have with the plants, with your environment, right? The connection you have with your life itself. It's those things are very, very important. So I would encourage you to have bigger perspective. So imagine that you do something for just 5 minutes every day, right? Those 5 minutes, doing something for 5 minutes for one day would not really make a big difference. But if you did something for 5 minutes and you were doing it for 10 years, right? I can tell that one year of 5 minutes every day would accumulate to around 6 to 7 hours in a year, right? Which is quite a bit, and in 100 years that would be 600 hours, right? It would be a huge, quite a lot of time. So you could imagine that when you do something small for yourself, like today, it will have a huge impact in the future, right? And of course, if you are doing it once, it will not really have much impact. So for that reason, consistency is much more important, right? What we do day to day, right? How committed we are to the practices that we do. So if you're changing your diet, for example, I would not recommend also people to do the drastical changes. I've been coaching people for a long time, and I help people to transition slowly and safely, and something that is comfortable and also sustainable as well. So when you do change your diet, you do not want to make these drastic changes. You want to do small changes at once, for example, and then what you do, you stay consistent. You do stay in the space until it becomes a habit. Because you have to remember that in the beginning, when you do it first time, this 5 minutes might be difficult, or let's say not even 5 minutes, but let's say changing one meal or another, or a few meals in a day that you're eating, or removing something from your diet might be a difficult thing to do. But I can tell you from my own experience as well that I've been eating fruits only for like the last 4 years, not 3 years, and 4 years I've been only eating raw food. And for me, I cannot, there is no going back. It's like it became a habit. It's a very easy thing that it became part of me. It's not something that I must do consciously and always put effort and use lots of willpower to do. It's something that it happens automatically. It's nothing else that I really want. So like that, what you do in the beginning, it takes a bit of energy, a bit of effort. It requires for your mind to adjust. It requires for you to have the discipline and to be consistent for some time. But once you do it for a certain amount of time, it becomes automatic. It becomes a habit, right? So that's why, doing small things today is gonna have huge impact for you in 10 years. And in the same way as well, what you're experiencing today is not what you did yesterday. It's not what you're doing today. It's what you were doing throughout the first part of your life, your entire life, and also what your ancestors did in the past as well. It's through our genes as well, through our we pass on our mistakes, and also good things that we did in our past and in our ancestral past as well. So do not be hard on yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes, but what's important is we learn from them, and then we also have bigger perspective, right? Because if you get stuck in this how you're feeling right now, and sometimes you're going through some challenges, you can overcome these challenges by looking at the bigger picture, right? Like why are you feeling like this, right? So the reason, the health you have today is because what you were doing 10 years ago, what you're doing 15 years ago. So think about that, what you were doing in that time, and give, I like to say that, give your mistakes, give credit to your mistakes, right? So this is something that really helped me a lot in maintaining the health practices and doing good things for myself. And it is not to do only with the food, it's to do with many different things as well, to do meditation. If you start doing meditation today, even though it's 5 minutes only, you can imagine that in this 1 year's time, it will be quite a few hours, right? That you will accumulate, and it will become very good practice, and you will not really benefit. You might get lots of benefit even right now when you do it, but also you get much higher benefit later in the future. So stay consistent, and also, of course, be easy on yourself. You don't have to push yourself too hard. Yes. So this is what I wanted to talk today, and thanks for watching, and love you all.